to go ahead and get started. Welcome to everyone to our CEO Power Panel talking about trends in technology and practices. We're lucky enough today to be joined by Bobby Yazdani. He's the founder and chairman and CEO of Saba, as well as Frank Russsel. He's currently the CEO of Prositions, and he was the founder and CEO of Elearning. And Alan Todd is the chairman of the board for the Corporate University Exchange and was the chairman and CEO of Knowledge Planet as well. So these gentlemen really have been sort of at the forefront of the evolution of learning technology and really are here today to share with you and answer any questions you have about sort of the current state of the industry as well as where it's going.
So maybe as a wrap-up question, you talked about the movement into the formal or informal arena for a lot of the training. What do you see the role being of the LMS in that world? Is there a role? Is it just are you helping people do that, or is the LMS really centering more on the formal side of things?
I can take a crack at this. I think the way we've known LMS is going to evolve. So what LMS was and what LMS is today and what will be, what the future of LMS would be very different. It's going to look very different. And the capabilities built in LMS systems are going to be quite different from what we've experienced. So we see the LMS to evolve to become a service rather than a system as a standalone system. It would be a service that would coexist in an enterprise architecture. It could be manifested into a portal that could serve the customers, employees, partners, or what have you, is a service that gets enabled where you get your work done. So it's about work, it's about how LMS will support you, the services of LMS would support you to get your work done. So it's more about the work and how that service essentially would help you transform essentially the way you get your job and your work done. We see that the curation of the content would be, and the delivery of the content would be inherent in this service. Search will become a very important part of this service. Personalization would be an important part of the service. The prescriptive nature of this service is also going to be quite important. The service will tell you, based on your job and what you're trying to get done, will prescribe to you, would suggest to you, would recommend to you the things that you need to do to help you to get your job done. So it's more about, it becomes a recommendation engine. It becomes a self-service, a self-curated, content-curated engine. Is going to be less about a destination, is more about a service that gets embedded, whether it's on your mobile device or the portal you do your work done, or your productivity tools, your Outlook or your inbox where you get your job done.
We're seeing a lot of demand for that kind of guidance as opposed to administration of
Yeah.
learning.
The LMS will disappear. And by that I mean, what I believe Bobby's talking about here is you won't be able to recognize it. You know, if you look at the evolution of this industry, it's sort of like the learning management system grew up separately from these other components in a talent management system. But the reality is that it should be an integrated part, and you shouldn't basically be able to see it. If there's analysis going on, it should be analyzing everything I do in my workday. So if I'm sitting here and I go out to a website, or I go out to a wiki, or I participate in a blog, or I do something, and that sort of, revolves around me communicating and learning something, and that has value, then an LMS, wherever it exists and whatever it looks like, and I don't think it should look like anything, should be able to pick that up and give analytics and information back to people who may want to look at that, who may find value in tracking that. But to me, these will integrate together, and you won't be able to tell the difference between a business system and what's happening online and a learning management system, because it won't be a standalone, separate entity, in my opinion.
And I think the era of the monolithic piece of enterprise software, particularly in the LMS space, I think that monolithic architected product from a decade ago does not have a place in the enterprise of the future. And I think a loosely coupled solution where, and I described this sort of this deep people analytics, so a very rich, big database sits underneath a set of loosely coupled, lightweight applications that can run on any devices, run anywhere. And I think those will be the learning apps, if you will, or smaller, lightweight applications, and Bobby called about a service-oriented architecture, same sort of example. I think when that's done, it's exactly as you described. I think it gets remade in front of our eyes, and the idea of having a monolithic system where hey, video looks cool, and I bolt on this video thing. Profiles look cool, and I bolt on this Facebook thing. And when I'm all done, I have this Frankenstein thing that had this YouTube version and a Facebook version and a compliance thing, and I added a test thing. And you could add this all together and have an unwieldy, monolithic, unusable, complex system. And I think the world is longing for simplicity. And so I think the future is simple apps that work with a nice, deep, structured back end that they all talk to, that give you the information, the power, and the analytics that you need to make the better decisions, to inform management practices, to run better businesses.
May I add, I mean, the technology has evolved. For instance, our next generation platform is about open social infrastructure. So there are industry standards have evolved, the infrastructure has evolved. We are leveraging a lot of the new standards to create a very different experience. And we are fortunate that all these things have evolved as our industry has evolved, and the capabilities that we need to deliver has to evolve. So we are using open social as, for instance, next generation infrastructure to creating the experience. You're talking about loosely coupled services, very light set of experiences, and you can put it together as you need it, rather than this monolithic, monolithic environment.
Excellent. Excellent. Well, thank you very much, gentlemen, for all of your insights. We can have drinks later and talk about analytics, because I know we didn't even get to really touch on that. So one of my pet areas of interest. But really, a big round of applause for our panelists. Thank you so much. Thank you.